It happens at the grocery store, or in the middle of a movie you've already seen 10 times, or when a grandchild says something kind without even knowing it matters. You tear up again. And part of you wonders, am I becoming too emotional? But here's the truth. Crying more after 60 doesn't mean you're breaking down. It might mean you're finally seeing life clearly. Did you know that older adults are actually more emotionally stable than younger people, but also more likely to cry during happy moments? It's true. Researchers at UC Berkeley found that aging brains become better at tuning into meaning, not just logic. So if you find yourself tearing up more often, during a sunset, a song, or just standing in your kitchen, don't worry. You're not losing control. You're finally feeling life all the way through. In this video, we'll explore why tears flow more freely after 60. And it's not just hormones or grief. It's memory, biology, wisdom. We'll talk about what's really happening in your brain, why soft moments hit harder now, and how crying more might actually mean you're stronger than ever. Let's dive in. Reason number 1. Brain chemistry changes. I never used to cry at commercials. Now, I see a puppy reunite with its owner, and I'm sniffling into my tea like someone just won an Oscar. Sound familiar? If you've noticed that your tears show up faster these days, it's not your imagination. And it's not weakness either. Your brain is changing. And, oddly enough, that might be a gift. As we age, our brains naturally produce less dopamine and serotonin, those feel-good chemicals that help regulate emotions. You're not depressed. You're not overly sensitive. You're just more open, more unfiltered. And while that can feel inconvenient, especially when a random song on the radio hits like a gut punch, it also means you're more in tune with life's real weight. In fact, studies from Harvard Medical School and UC Berkeley show that the aging brain becomes better at feeling emotionally meaningful moments, even if they're subtle. You've built up a lifetime of memories, perspective, and losses, so now your emotional radar is sharper. You catch the quiet things, the sacred little moments, the stuff younger folks rush past. You're not more fragile, you're more attuned. And if that means a few more teardrops on your pillowcase or on your morning newspaper, so be it. That's not weakness, that's wisdom, leaking out just a little. Reason number 2. Emotional layering and accumulated grief. It's not always the big anniversaries or obvious losses that bring the tears. Sometimes it's the smell of bread baking, or hearing a name you haven't said out loud in years, or passing by a park bench that looks just like the one your spouse used to sit on. That's the thing about aging. Grief becomes layered. It doesn't go away. It just settles into the background until something, anything, brings it rushing back. By the time we reach our 60s or 70s, we've said more goodbyes than we ever imagined. To people, places, pets, dreams, even versions of ourselves. And while we carry on, we laugh, we live, we even thrive, there are echoes, quiet little echoes that catch us when we least expect it. You might find yourself tearing up while folding a towel, not because the towel matters, but because your hands remember who used to help with the laundry. You're not broken, you're remembering. And those tears, they're love, slipping out through the cracks. Reason number 3. Less emotional guarding. When you were younger, you were expected to hold it together. At work, for your kids, in public, at funerals. There was always someone watching, a role to play, a face to keep straight. But now, you've earned the right to feel what you feel. And the emotional filters that once kept everything neatly bottled up, they've softened. You're not trying to impress a boss anymore. You're not raising toddlers while juggling bills and holding back tears in the shower. You've stepped out of the pressure cooker and into a season where feelings finally have space to breathe. And sometimes they do just that. Right out of your eyes. There's deep strength in that. Letting emotion rise and fall naturally, without judgment, is something most people never learn how to do. But you've lived long enough to know. It's better to let a tear fall than to pretend everything is fine. So if you cry watching a stranger dance on TikTok or while reading a greeting card in the grocery store, you're not being silly, you're being real. And real is rare. Reason number 4. Hormonal shifts. You thought mood swings were just for teenagers, but now you tear up during commercials about soup, or someone compliments your sweater and suddenly you need a moment. What gives? One word: hormones. After 60, especially for women post-menopause and men with lowered testosterone, hormonal shifts can subtly change how you experience emotion. Estrogen and testosterone both play roles in emotional regulation, and as they decrease, your emotional shock absorbers thin out. The result? You might feel things more sharply: joy, grief, tenderness, and those feelings can surprise you, even when nothing dramatic is happening. You're not becoming moody, you're adjusting to a new emotional rhythm, one that's honest, unfiltered, and deeply human. It's biology, not drama. And while hormones may be quieter now, your heart is louder. And that's okay. Before we keep going, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed yourself tearing up more often these days? Was it something small or something big that caught you off guard? Drop a comment below. Your story might make someone else feel less alone. And if you're enjoying these reflections, hit that subscribe button. We explore what it really means to grow older with heart, humor, and honesty. All right, let's keep going. Reason number 5. The world feels heavier. You turn on the news and feel a lump in your throat. You hear about someone struggling, someone you've never even met, and you have to blink the tears away. Why does it all feel so much more personal now? Simple. Because it is. With age comes perspective, and with perspective comes empathy. Often the kind that hurts a little. You've lived long enough to know what loss feels like. You've seen unfairness, beauty, struggle, and resilience in ways that younger people haven't had to yet. So when you witness pain, in the world, in a stranger's eyes, in a headline, your heart doesn't shrug it off. It absorbs it. It's not that the world has suddenly gotten worse, it's that you've become more connected to it, more awake, more aware. Some call it being sensitive. I call it being profoundly alive. Reason number 6. Less distraction equals more feeling. When life slows down, emotions speak up. For decades, your calendar was a wall of noise: work, errands, family, bills, caretaking, cooking, fixing, doing. There wasn't time to cry. There wasn't even time to feel. But now, there's quiet. And in the quiet, the heart begins to whisper things you didn't know it was holding. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes it's both. You might find yourself crying after a walk or while watching birds at the feeder. It's not because anything's wrong, it's because you're finally present. And presence lets feelings bloom. You're not too emotional. You're finally not too busy to notice what you feel. Reason number 7. Wisdom brings tenderness. Here's something no one tells you when you're young. The wiser you get, the softer you become. Not weaker, softer, not naive, just open. When you were younger, you powered through things. You were tough when you had to be. But with time, wisdom teaches a new truth. It's not strength to hold back love. It's strength to show it. That's why at 65 or 75 or 85, you cry when you see a child being kind. Or when someone reaches for their partner's hand. Or when a stranger holds the door and smiles. You see life's small mercies now, the ones you used to miss. And each one stirs something in your chest. You're not becoming overly emotional. You're becoming someone who understands, and understanding makes you tender. Reason number 8. Because you're still here. This might be the most powerful reason of all. You cry more easily now because you're still here. You've made it through things that tried to break you, and some things that did. You've said hard goodbyes. You've had your heart broken and stitched it back together with quiet bravery. You've watched seasons of life come and go, and you're still standing. That kind of endurance changes you. It softens your armor. It sharpens your heart. So when you cry at the sound of rain, or while listening to your favorite old song, or when someone simply says, "I'm glad you're here," it's not weakness. It's gratitude. It's life catching up to you in the best way. Because you're still here, and you're finally feeling all of it. So, if you cry more these days, don't apologize. Don't hide it. Don't think for a second it makes you too much. It means you've lived. It means your heart still works, and that's something to be proud of. Let your tears fall if they need to. They're just memories, love, and truth, finally coming up for air. If this video touched something in you, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. What moment recently made you cry? And why do you think it mattered? And if you haven't already, tap subscribe for more reflections like this one. We talk about growing older honestly, with humor, hope, and heart. You're not alone on this path, and if you are, you're stronger than you know.